Good morning. A little sip of coffee here, folks, to get started. That's good stuff. Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News for this, the 17th day of September 2019. We are up to 1,514 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you. We keep growing, a couple every day. So appreciate all of you. If you're new here for the first time, welcome aboard. Feel free to jump in at any time in the chat section. I try to get back to it before the show's over to see if there's any comments. And we do have some folks that pretty regularly comment on things going on. So help yourself to that. I'm coming to you, a broadcast from the family farm in Forest, Virginia, which is in Bedford County, right near Lynchburg. And the main subject on this space is travel and cruise industry news. And of course, today is another day that's dominated by weather. So let's get right to it. Since I was last with you guys, Tropical Storm Humberto has become Hurricane Humberto. Gained strength early today, packing 90 mile per hour winds. It's expected to become a major hurricane by tonight or tomorrow as it tracks toward Bermuda. Bermuda could be hit with tropical storm force winds and up to 3 inches of rain by late tomorrow. The center of the hurricane is expected to approach Bermuda tomorrow night. The current track shows it sideswiping Bermuda's west coast. That's kind of in the King's Wharf type area. It's currently picking up speed, moving about 8 miles per hour. It gained strength Sunday after it dropped a couple inches of rain in the Bahamas, but no additional damages there have been reported. The kind of back end result of this is there's life-threatening riptides and currents on the east coast of the United States, even though this thing never got anywhere near us, but it's affecting the tides. If you're ever in the water when there's rip tides or rip currents involved, and I don't know how many of you know exactly what that means, but basically when the waves come into shore, the water has to go back out to sea, and it does it in channels. And when the right kind of conditions exist, if you get into one of the channels of that water going back out, it's going to suck you right out with it. I've been in it a couple times, and probably at times that I shouldn't have been in the water and was. And you can't fight it. If you fight it, you're going to end up getting in real trouble. So you just got to go with it and try to swim instead of trying to swim back to shore, which is against that heavy current taking you out. If you can swim parallel to that, parallel down the beach or up the beach, whichever the case may be, and you will get out of it, even though it's pulling you out as you're swimming parallel to the beach. You're going further and further out, yes. But when you get out of that current itself, the water comes back to normal. And then you can, if you've got any kind of swimmer at all, you can ride the waves in, because then you're back into the normal flow of the tide coming in, and you'll get yourself back into shallow water. It's a scary situation. It's a dangerous situation, and one you shouldn't be in. But if you ever get in that situation, it is possible to get yourself out without totally losing it. Of course, most beaches have lifeguards and they're aware of the riptides and are watching for that and might have already come to your aid. But if you're in that rare case where it happens, just try to go parallel down the beach and you'll get out of the heavy currents. I don't know why I got sidetracked on that one. That's typical of my brain, I guess. Anyway, Humberto heading for Bermuda. We really don't know yet if it's going to be a direct hit or if it's going to just provide some rains and wind and so forth. But we're looking at a serious situation here, especially if it should hit directly. So you guys in Bermuda be aware of it. Now, of course, since we talk about cruise ships as one of the subject of this space, there's been some changes on itineraries being altered because of it, because of Humberto. The Carnival Breeze, which is on a 7-day Bermuda sailing that left Port Canaveral on the 14th, will continue as normal. The ship's expected to return to Florida as scheduled on the 21st. The Carnival Pride, which comes out of Baltimore, is now sailing an altered itinerary with a call in Grand Turk and Amber Cove instead of its original calls to King's Wharf. Guests are being offered 25% off on as a future cruise credit. It'll be back in Baltimore, of course, assuming there's no changes in the weather or the patterns. We'll be back in Baltimore as normal on the 22nd. The Carnival Sunrise, which departed yesterday from New York City, will call on Charleston, South Carolina, instead of going to Bermuda, and hopefully we'll be able to return to Bermuda on the way back to New York once the hurricane passes. So, I mean, they're just altering the days that there were supposed to be places and trying to get back to each of the ports, even though it's in a different order. So that's what's going on with the ships that were scheduled into King's Wharf. At this point in time, there weren't any ships scheduled into Hamilton or St. George's, but the King's Wharf, of course, is the main area in Bermuda. So that's where we stand on that. Of course, I'll do updates if it becomes necessary, if there's any major news on this. But it looks like tomorrow night-ish, Bermuda will be getting some sort of hurricane stuff. Okay, there's actually two other systems to make mention of. There is another system out in the heading toward the Eastern Caribbean that is getting a lot of attention from the folks that know what the hell they're doing or supposed to know what they're doing. It's roughly following the same kind of line that Dorian did. Of course, that doesn't mean anything, folks, because that's still 4 or 5 days short of getting to the Eastern Caribbean, and anything can happen to then. I mean, even Humberto can take a tick one way or the other and change totally the impact on Bermuda. These things, as we found out with Dorian especially, it's a little bit of movement can cause tremendous good or bad on a system. So anyway, we've got another one out there in the Eastern Caribbean that's looking more and more likely like it will develop. So we're going to have to watch the next week or 10 days or so. And then there's Invest 98L. Now, you guys know, I've said this before, I don't understand the designated business of Invest 98L is what it's currently called now. and then it becomes tropical system something or another, and then it gets a name at some point in time, and it's just silly. But anyway, Invest 98L is the one that is in the Gulf and is going to dump a ton of rain on Galveston and Houston, maybe up to a foot or more of rain. Good chance of some local flooding. It's actually raining in Galveston this morning, and that's just going to get worse. As far as the development of this storm into a tropical system, tropical storm / hurricane, it's not likely. But this is going to be kind of similar to the way Dorian was in the Bahamas. It's going to park over Galveston, Houston, that area, and dump a lot of rain before it finally moves out. Its impact on the cruise industry right now, of course, there is no impact. It's raining, and it's going to rain a lot over the next couple days. There is no scheduled cruise arrivals or departures until Friday in Galveston, when Enchantment of the Seas is due in. At this point, the only thing that I would be a little concerned about for Friday and Saturday with the Carnival Dream and Carnival Vista, Sunday's Carnival Freedom and Liberty of the Seas. So we've got 3 days. The weekend is busy in Galveston. My concern at this point is folks traveling via the airlines to get to Galveston, to get on one of those ships. You might definitely want to check with your air carrier on the weather situation. There could well be some plane delays getting into to that area. It doesn't look like there'll be any impact on the cruises themselves being able to sail, even with a lot of rain. But it's going to impact folks getting there, and the folks coming in, getting back home, possibly could have trouble with flights. So just be aware of it. Again, it's one of those things that we will keep you advised as more information is available. But the folks down in the Gulf area are going to get a ton of rain over the next couple days. And hopefully it's not going to affect any of you folks that are sailing this weekend out of Galveston. One other thing to mention, a story that I saw yesterday, and I'd make mention of it. The Viking Lifecraft system has now obtained flag state approval. I have no idea what that means. As a life-saving appliance to be installed on passenger ships, according to a press release. The system is the world's first inflatable and electrically powered evacuation solution. Basically, it's just a gigunda, an inflatable boat that you can evacuate cruise ships should it be necessary. Very similar to, when you go into one of the ports that you don't go to the dock and you get on the little boat, get right into the pier. Similar to that, only they're inflatables. Interesting concept. They'll hold, I think it's a couple hundred people, like 203 people, I believe. They have 4 independent electric engines. The survival craft is maneuverable and the ability to quickly turn 360 degrees. Interesting concept. So I don't know how much it's going to be used. I just make mention of it because it's gotten some approvals, and So apparently somebody is going to be using it on some of the ships. So you might see something new in the future as far as evacuation appliances. I think that's interesting terminology on a cruise ship. So that's really it. Again, the main emphasis this morning is on the weather. I'm getting tired of the weather. Let's get out of the system of having to talk about weather all the time. That's as bad as when we're talking about San Juan protests all the time. I'd like to get back to just doing news on travel and cruise industry, but the weather's what it is. So, hey, Bonnie, good morning. Bonnie's kids, the Bubba and Princess, had a grooming yesterday. Saw some wonderful pictures, especially of Bubba with his new do. Bubba's a Bichon Frise, one of my favorite little breeds of dogs. But anyway, Bonnie, good to see you. You guys in Bermuda, but batten it down. Be careful. Don't do anything stupid. You're going to have some weather coming your way. So hope it's not going to be bad. We'll see, and we'll keep everybody updated on that. Anyway, that's it for this morning. Regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, including the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, my interview show called Chillie Chats, and of course, travel and cruise industry news, which we are on the air Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 a.m. If you'd like to keep up with any of that, just hit the little subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner. The bell notification system will tell you when I go live or when I get a new video posted. So click on that. And as always, we appreciate a thumbs up or thumbs down, either way. But that tells YouTube that you're out there watching. And all of you new guys, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. As always, you can look down through the description of the video when it gets posted as a video, since this is a live broadcast. And there's links to, all my other pages. There's links to Amazon. If you go shopping on Amazon, I make a couple pennies. If you are interested in Audible, which is a service I use a lot, I'm going on a cruise shortly, another couple weeks. And I will have a book on my tablet and my phone. And there, Brat the Cat is making his presence known this morning. Brat the Cat has entered the building. So he's trying to tell me that it's time to be fed. He got fed at 3 a.m. So Brat, go away. Anyway, Brat the Cat is with us as we wrap this show up. I'll see you guys on Thursday. And if anything major happens in between now and then, this is Chillie, the fat travel guy. Later, y'all.